Hello, everyone. Welcome to Catherine's ESL classroom. In today's lesson, we are going to spice up the English language with some common or famous collective nouns. So let's get started and learn some more. So today's lesson, spice up your English with some famous collective nouns. Now, there are a lot of collective nouns, but these are the most famous. So let's review. So what are collective nouns? Collective nouns are nouns that name a group of people, things, or animals, such as family, loaf of bread, crowd of people, herd of cattle, bunch of grapes, and pack of wolves. Have you ever heard of these? Well, these are some of the most famous ones, but we're going to learn not just these, but some more as well. So remember, collective nouns are words that sound plural, but are actually singular. Don't forget to use the third person singular. For example, why do we say my family eats together every night if my family consists of 6 people? That's because family is a collective noun and we are describing the group, which is one entity or one thing. In American English, we always treat collective nouns as singular, which means you should use the third person singular verb ending with them, the final S. For example, my family eats dinner together. You'll notice the verb eat is being used in the third person because it's representing the singular verb for family. Remember, family is the collective noun, and we're using the third person singular verb, eats, okay? Some collective nouns can go with either singular or plural verbs. For example, family, and I want to explain using the collective noun family in a sentence again. John's family is having a picnic at the park. You'll notice the singular verb is. This is an example of another way of using it in a sentence, singularly. But we can also use it as a plural verb with using the collective noun family. For example, John's family are enjoying their picnic at the park. You'll notice here it's plural because it's representing their family, okay? I know it's a little tricky. Some collective nouns can be either singular or plural. Now pay attention, this is different than the other one. For example, loaf, okay? A loaf of bread. Here's a loaf of bread. Now, an example of how we were to use this as a singular structure of the word loaf, I am baking a loaf of bread, okay? Loaf is a singular collective noun, but how are we going to use it in the plural? You have to think about it and watch. I am baking 5 loaves of bread for Christmas, okay? Here are 5 loaves of bread. Now, one of them was cut, but it's still part of a loaf, okay? You're probably counting. You're probably saying, well, I only see 4 and maybe a quarter or even a half, but it's still part of a loaf. So the plural for loaf is loaves, Okay. Another way we can use the sentence plural is those loaves of bread are baking nicely for Christmas. Okay, you're noticing the verb are. Okay, so we're using it. Those loaves of bread are. So loaves are. Okay, you're probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of information. It is. So here are some really good examples. All right, let's practice. All those fireworks, getting you prepared. Band, here's a very famous one. Band is a collective noun. It means a group of instrumentalists playing music of a specific genre. Now I'm underlining vocabulary words here because these are really good vocabulary words. We have instrumentalists. Instrumentalists are the same thing as the word musician. And genre can be rock, mariachi, or jazz. And here's a fun fact about using the word band collectively is you can also use the word to mean a group of persons living outside the law or outlaws. For example, a renegade band. Okay, so here's an example of a renegade band. Now, this is literally a renegade band. They are called the Outlaws, and those are the musicians in the renegade band called the Charlie Daniels Band. But the Outlaws of a renegade band is over here. These are some famous outlaws. Do you recognize some of them? Well, if you do, you should put them in your comments. This would be a fun fact. Here's an example. A musician is playing the flute. There are 6 musicians in the band. So a group of musicians is called a band. Remember, band is a collective noun. We are spicing up the language. Team. Team means a group of players forming one side to be in a competitive game or sport. Okay? So here are some examples. We have soccer, we have football, we have hockey. But a fun fact is you can also use the word to mean a person is part of a team at a business to reach a common goal. This player or teammate is waiting to play soccer. So remember your synonyms or another word. Okay, another word for player is teammate, or the synonym to player is teammate. You notice here, there are 10 players in this team. So what's a team? A team is a group of players or a group of teammates. Army. This is a famous one. The term army means an organized fighting force. It's commonly known for the military force. But here's a fun fact. You can also use the word two as army of ants, army of women, or even army of one. Now, sometimes Miss Catherine likes to put some vocabulary or grammar words, okay? So where is the grammar word that's incorrect? Did you find it? Remember two? On the fun fact, look at fun fact, how I use the sentence to, T-O-O. Is that correct? No, it's not. Or is it? T-O. So should we say you can use the word to as army of ants? Or should we do it as T-O? T-O-O is correct. You're probably thinking, whew, did I get that right? And the vocabulary word organized, organized fighting force. You see how everyone is organized in the photos of the US Army and even in the Army of Women that are down below. But then you have Army of One, okay? So these are some fun facts. I hope you like them. This soldier is singing. Why would this soldier be singing if he's with a rifle? Well, he could be singing or he could be shouting. It's up to you. There are 12 soldiers in this army looking at the soldier singing. They're thinking he might be a little silly. Or they're saying, uh-oh. What do you think? Now remember, a group of soldiers is called an army. We don't really say army of soldiers, but you can say army of soldiers. So normally when people say army, we're thinking the military, okay? But we can say this too. This ant is eating the plant. This army of ants are destroying the plants. So what is called a group of ants? A group of ants is called the army of ants, okay? You see how it's an organized fighting force? So we can also use this for army of ants. Most people like to say army of fire ants because they are the most destructive. That's another vocabulary word. Do you know how to spell destructive? Put it down in the comments. Put down army of ants. The most popular army of ants are red ants or fire ants, and they are very destructive. So I want to know if you know the spelling of destructive and what's the meaning. Put that in the comments. Pride. This is another famous one. This term pride originates from being proud. It's similar to the word flock. It's used to describe lions or impressive birds such as peacocks or ostriches. Did you know that? Yep. Pride, thinking proud. So peacock, they open up their feathers because they're very proud. So that would be called pride of peacocks. Okay. A lion. There are 5 lions in this pride. So what would be called a group of lions? A group of lions is called a pride of lions. Okay. Flock. Okay. I'm waiting because I want you to kind of read this. So now that you're starting to understand a little bit more, I want you to think about the word flock. So the origination of the word flock is a band or body of people. This is getting a little confusing, I know, because there are many common words out there that we are using collectively, and they have a lot of origin or where it originally comes from. And these are just the most famous ones. Sometimes we like to know the history of it, and sometimes we just need to know how to spice up the English language. Okay, so the word flocks refers to a group of animals like birds or sheep that come together. You can also use flock to mean a congregation of people. For example, a flock of children at the zoo. Did you know that? Okay. I see a beautiful bluebird called a blue jay. I see a group of birds flying for the winter in this flock. So what's a group of birds? What is it called? A flock of birds. You starting to get the hang of it now? I see a sheep. And I see 6 sheep in this flock. So what's called a group of sheep? It's called a flock of sheep. Herd. Have you ever heard of this one before? You notice the difference in spelling? So put in your comments Have you heard what this is called? Okay. If I say, have you heard it before? How do you spell that word? Or a herd is similar to the word flock. You notice the differences? I like to give you some bonuses. Now, also notice the vocabulary words that are underlined, okay? So I'm going to read this and explain it to you. The word herd is similar to the word flock. It means a large group of animals such as cows, elephants, or cattle. They are known to graze the land. They can be kept together by a herder, which can be a person or a dog. Did you know that? These are some fun facts. An elephant is a herd of elephants. I see 4 elephants belonging to the herd. So what's a group of elephants? Group of elephants is a herd of elephants. This is getting now too easy or just right. You let me know. Pack. Have you ever heard of the collective noun pack? Well, when referring to animals, the term pack comes from the wolf. Many years later, it is now commonly known as a group of wolves or dogs. So some fun facts for you again. It originates from wool trading. Did you know that? Who is this? This is Betty Boop. Betty Boop is a dog. There are 5 happy dogs in this pack. So what's a group of dogs? They are a pack of dogs. School. Well, the collective noun school means fish that swim together in the same direction, but in a coordinated way. Fish can be bluefish, snapper, shark, or salmon. So some fun facts about school is fish can shoal by swimming independently by themselves, but they still stay connected in a social group. So there are differences between a school and shoal. Okay, here you'll see that some are swimming independently, but they still are connected in a social group. Okay, and then the other ones is a school, which they are swimming together in the same direction, but in a coordinated way. Okay, now coordinated is your vocabulary word, so put down in the comments what that means. Here's a school of what's this called? Sharks, right? They're sharks. They're a school of sharks. And here's a funny picture. A school of sharks that are at school. We all know what school is. Do you? Put down in the comments. A fish. I see 5 fish in the school of fish. So what's called a group of fish? A group of fish is called a school of fish. Bouquet. This is the most famous one that people enjoy when it comes to flowers. So bouquet means a pretty arrangement of flowers such as roses, tulips, sunflowers, or different types of flowers. And here's a fun fact. The French word bouquet originates from a clump of trees. Did you know that? Tulips. Does that make sense? Put down in your comments if that's correct. I want to know if you're paying attention to grammar. A bouquet of tulips. So what's a bouquet of tulips? It's also a group of flowers. So if someone asks you what's a group of flowers or a group of tulips, it's a bouquet of tulips. Bunch. This is another famous one. Bunch means growing together, such as grapes, beets, or radishes. It can also mean physically put together, such as children or people in general. Did you know a fun fact about the word bunch? The French word bouquet originates from a clump of trees. Does that make sense? Are you paying attention? No, that is incorrect. Okay. All right. Put down the comments. A grape. A bunch of grapes. So what's a bunch of grapes? A group of grapes. So if someone asks you, what's a group of grapes? It would be a bunch of grapes. That's your collective noun, bunch. Forest. Everyone knows what this is, or do you? Did you know the actual meaning? Well, forest means land dominated by trees. That's your vocabulary word. This means you basically see only trees on the land. These are examples of forests. There are many forests out there. Put down in the comments which forest you've seen on maybe TV, or maybe when you hiked, or maybe that you've explored. A tree. I see a forest of trees. So what's a group of trees? Is a forest, okay? We don't really say forest of trees. You can, it's still acceptable. But when someone says there's a forest out there, that would mean a group of trees that are dominating the land. Remember that vocabulary word, dominate it. Put down in the comments what that means. Uh-oh, it's game time. Are you ready? Have you been paying attention? Now, I've been putting a lot out there. So these are some famous collective nouns. I put down some major vocabulary, okay, the ones that were underlined. I would like for you to put in your comments what some of those words mean, some collective nouns that you remember and that you would like to add, maybe some collective nouns that other people may not know, and maybe some of the grammatical errors that you have found, okay? Because I like for you to keep attention to my class. I always like to trick you. Now, what's this? Do you remember what this is? Well, I'm a lonely peacock. Can you what? Can you what? Can you find me to my, is it bunch, herd, pride, or flock? Which one? Pride. Remember, pride is group of peacocks equals pride of peacocks. I'm a lonely grape. Can you take me to my bunch, to my herd, to my bouquet, or to my flock? Which one is that? Bunch. So what's a bunch of grapes? Or what's a group of grapes? So remember, group of grapes equal bunch of grapes, okay? I'm a lonely flower. Can you take me to my, is it bunch? Is it herd? Is it bouquet? Or is it flock? Bouquet. Do you remember the fun fact about bouquet? Do you remember where it comes from? That's what you have to put on the fun facts. I like to do game time. So what's a bunch of flowers? Or what's a group of flowers? Bunch of flowers, okay? So is it a bunch of flowers, group of flowers, or is it a bouquet of flowers? Here's another one. I want you to put down in the comments what it is, because this one is a tricky one. I made some mistakes here, And I want you to pay attention because I wanted you to tell me what you remember. Okay, so I'm going to say this quickly. This is bouquet of flowers, not bunch of flowers. Put down the comments. I'm a lonely tree. Can you take me to my, is it bunch, forest, bouquet, or flock? Did you get it? Forest. So what's a lonely tree in a forest or a group of trees that are dominated? We just say forest. Do we say forest of trees? We can say that, but when people say forest, we just say it's just a group of trees. That's what it means. I'm a lonely dog. Do you remember Betty Boop? She's kind of lonely. Can you take me to my bunch, band, pack, or flock? Did you get it? Pack. So what's a group of dogs? Pack of dogs. Remember, it comes from the wolf. I'm a lonely fish. Can you take me to my bunch, school, pack, or flock? Which one? School. So what's a group of fish? Group of fish is a school of fish. I'm a lonely bird. Can you take me to my bunch, school, herd, or flock? Now, trick question here. Do you know what kind of bird this is? I love these birds. I see them outside my window all the time. But what's a group of birds? If you want to take a lonely bird and you want to put it into a group of birds, what's the collective noun? Flock. Okay, so what's a group of birds? It's a flock of birds. I'm a lonely elephant. Can you take me to my bunch, school, flock, or herd? I like to trick you here. Is anyone saying flock? Nope, it's herd. So what's a group of elephants? It's a herd of elephants. Look, I'm tricking you again. I'm a lonely elephant. Can you take me to my, is this an elephant? You put down in the comments, are these elephants? Are you paying attention? Well, anyway, if I'm a lonely elephant or, I don't think these are elephants. So if I'm a lonely elephant or a sheep or a lamb, group of sheep equals a flock of sheep. I like to trick people. I like for you to pay attention because you need to tell me. I like for this to be interactive and fun. I'm a lonely musician. Can you take me to my bunch, band, flock, or pack? Band. So what's a group of musicians? It's called a band. We don't really say band of musicians. We just say band, okay? So what's a group of musicians? A band. Now, what's another word for musician? Put down the comments. I said it before in the lesson. I'm a lonely player. Can you take me to my bunch, team, flock, or pack? Which one? Team. So what's a group of players? We just say team. So if someone says, what team are you on? We don't really say a team of players. You can say this, but it's a little redundant. So we just say team. Now, two things. Do you remember what redundant means? Do you even know how to spell it? Put it down in the comments. Some bonus questions. Also, another bonus question. What's a synonym or another word for player? Put that down in the comments. The end. Are you exhausted yet? So tired. Or, wow, I just spiced up the English language. How about you? How did you do? Well, thank you, everyone. Wow, awesome job. What's another word for awesome job? Another vocabulary word. I think of stupendous. Well, until next time, thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye.